there's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot. Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone.
Members who have left return to your party. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a warm welcome here after being gone so long. Asgard, your savior is here! So this counts as a field action just because it's to go back, right? I guess so. Well, oh, there's a party chat thing.
Thinking about what could be lurking out here is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
For such a loudmouth, you sure
I've heard
can be a worrywart
Law's
at
voice
times.
actor in a lot of different
I'm
roles
sorry.
as a lot
How
of different
stupid of me
characters
for
before.
wanting us to stay safe.
But I don't think I've ever
Would you
heard
two
him say
children stop
heebie-jeebies
squabbling?
before.
Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
Any of the media that I've seen him in.
So how many Renins actually live in this place?
I couldn't tell you exactly.
About
They're not as many as you might
13.
expect. Machines and Zeugles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
There's Zeugles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford to let our guard down after all.
And if only we had ships that quick in real life as well to get from one planet to another. Because if we want to go to like another body in space, that's a long trip. That's a very long trip. Unless we get way faster ships. But right now we're still figuring out if it's even possible to break light speed. What the hell is going on here? Well, Lenegis, everything's on fire. Welcome to my home. Well, I'd say if anybody ever visits me. Everything's on fire. Do they desperately need the astral energy to make
What in
things
the world?
not get set on fire or something?
This being Renin territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
Tectonic plates shifting.
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
Oh, it wasn't tectonic plate shifting.
Maybe
it was
when they
the
sent the wedge down to Dana.
literal
But
massive
they wouldn't move around the places
manufactured
where people
plates
live.
moving around, I guess, right?
These are their homes, right?
I would think
So
the
I was
citizens
close,
themselves
I
didn't
guess.
have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Reg! I haven't seen you since high school.
Avakir,
Oh,
I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself, okay, Do?
So who's Faria?
Law?
is that the person whose
If what Avakir said is true,
boyfriend he killed?
it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
Maybe.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we could ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danins poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
I wonder if I
Being
actually
a
need to
lord on
change my
Lenegis
party
has
lead
its
for that,
advantages.
probably.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two.
I probably need to change my party lead, right? I'll try it with
The
Elfin
Danins
anyway,
among us
but
should probably keep our heads
but yeah.
down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Hold on, let's see the party
What
chat.
could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana, and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. We don't have time to stop and chat. Let's move.
We don't have time to stop and chat with each other. But we specifically need to stop and chat with the citizens.
So, I've been
Clean
wondering,
information.
do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this.
Well, it doesn't
But
transform
then,
very
if
well
they
if it
knew
does
people
this.
were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry. That probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shion. I'm sure we will.
Well, we can only go there when we have a chat with a bunch of nerds, though, right? I guess. What's this?
Oh, dear me.
Dear me.
What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zugals have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship,
Very late subtitles.
Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First, Lenegis mutates beyond recognition. Now, this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris House has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Well, the people really seem to like Dohalim, at least. It seems like music isn't too loud here, right? Yeah, it seems like it's a lot better here. There's action? Oh, to heal and stuff. Oh, now consider yourself healed! Just like that. My ears never have seen such potent healing arts. Thank you so much for taking the time to heal an old woman like me. Fancy parfait recipe. A lavish parfait filled to the brim with fruit and cream. Though extremely satisfying, eating one risks developing more than a few cavities. Okay. We finally healed 12 people. About time. Goddess of kindness. Increase max HP by 1. Nice. Testament to the many injuries Shion has treated. Over time, people began to revere her as a goddess. Elemental defense plus 40. Interesting. Improved healing arts. Yes! That!
I wonder just how many people have
sure.
been saved by Shion in some form. I'm impressed.
There's rumors flying around about people being saved by a Renin vision of beauty.
We're probably supposed to get this
Vision of
conversation somewhere
beauty?
back on Dana,
That's a
but
bit much. Alphen had better stay on his toes.
there's even armored guards here.
Everything will be okay now.
Why do they have to be armored for? Are they worried about
Your
fighting?
lordship. Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you.
But yeah, I guess we don't have to have them in the front.
I
It just
descended
does
to
it
Dana
automatically.
during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh?
If only before
No,
this
I
cutscene I
can't
could have
say
dressed up
remember
Shion
anyone
all in
like
red.
that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time.
Well, I guess we ask like one thing per person of like the 3 things that we need to know. I suppose. Hellos, how are you today?
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes.
I can't seem to find my way home is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
That is strange,
but
isn't
of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
Where'd Rinwell go?
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah, that one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits
I
the
don't know,
throne
maybe
from
the
his
big
or her
ruler is
predecessor, before
Volron or
becoming
whatever
ruler
his
over
name
all
was,
of
since
Rena
he had the
and
thing as
Lenegis.
well, the Sovereign thing
Thereafter,
Bob. I don't know, maybe.
That individual is known
We don't
as
know
the
for sure if we
Sovereign.
kill them.
Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all
Yeah,
this,
them.
at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danon. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that two sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganeth Heros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it.
Man, this place really is just the endless cutscenes. I mean, I'll take it. I'm low energy today. More excuses for me to sit back and not have to work. It's fine with me.
I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danon city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Hey, look, another thing.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alphen and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
Looks like there's even a silly party chat in the middle of all this seriousness. Hello, Felix. Hope you're doing well today. I might also adjust the Dewey cam. She's adjusting forward. I might just adjust it down a little bit. Ow! I can't. These earbuds don't go super far. Wow! Put my earbuds back in here. I will get new freaking headphones here soon. This swears. Where were we going? What is... I couldn't move my chair for a second there. That was weird. I guess we're going this way. Hey, look, another cutscene.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Start quest Renans and their lords. Is this just for like backstory kind of stuff? Sure, give display priority to it. So we can go and progress the story right now, but if we want to learn a little bit more about the lords, we can chat. Is it gonna be full-on cutscenes, or is it gonna be like just the text thing? You wanna know which lord I support? Why? Are you canvassing for someone? I'm with His Excellency Arwarski Teldis. You probably know him better as Lord Balsif. I know a lot of people consider him to be a giant brute. Believe me, I realize he can be an aggressive man. By those people, I may as well. I'll just turn on the cameras for these cutscenes. They're not anything that major, it seems like, anyway. Well, those people don't realize how much he looks after the members of his house. It's fair to say that House Teldis doesn't enjoy much esteem. But those of us who serve it will be the first to admit that.
Yes!
But His Excellency always stands up against any who would mean us harm. Of that we can be sure. His efforts in the crown contest aren't only for his family, but to improve the standing of each and every member of his house.
Yes!
I owe so much to His Excellency. I could never dream of serving any other lord. Okay, yeah, we'll go get some
Balsif
backstory on
to care
them.
about someone other than himself? Really?
Apparently.
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might
I wish I
have
could move
someone
like this
he
in real
wanted to
life.
protect.
Well then. Lord Dohalim, you have returned. Ah, and I see you've brought aides with you. Do you remember who I am, my lord? Surely you must, yes? My name is Inigo Montoya. Killed my father. Not only do I support House Ilcaras, but more specifically, his lordship personally. So much so, I've been trying to share my appreciation of his lordship to any who will listen. In fact, I was planning to publish my extensive writings on the subject through this very terminal, for all to read and enjoy. But since the lines appear to be cut due to recent turmoil, I've been unable to upload them. I know since you're all here, I'll just read them aloud. What is this, the most avid of the Pokemon fan base? And there exists the most handsome man, a man who radiates beauty, whose every word, every syllable is divine poetry. He hails from the famed House Ilcaras, and his name, Lord Dohalim. Music is his passion, the arts his great love. The scores of boorish, uncouth men of this land cannot begin to compare to his magnificence. So refined and majestic is his posture. Why, the mere thought of it brings me to ecstasy. Look at his expression. He's just like, I'm so done with this. Once he becomes our sovereign, Rena shall bloom anew, ushering in an era of prosperity for all our grand civilization. Now he looks more relaxed. Until that glorious day comes, I shall forever be praying for his victory, morning, noon, and night. What do you think, my lord? I poured my whole heart into it, hoping to capture your essence. Wait, I forgot to mention anything about his lordship's love for collecting things. I must take this time while the lines are down to append it. Only then will my masterpiece be complete. Well,
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
well then, but only 3? There isn't 5? What? Well, I never think anyone would try to tear me away from House what the hell? Valkyris.
What?
What do you want? Tell me you work for Lord Dohalim or that dreadful Lord Almadria, do you? You don't? Don't scare me like that. To answer your question, I come from a family that has served House Valkyris for generations. Indeed! No, indeed! doing all I can to support Lord Ganabelt behind the scenes so he might emerge victorious. Many think him to be a cruel man, but I insist they're utterly mistaken. Though I won't deny he can be strict, he puts Rena's interests front and center like no one else. Why, he advocates that rather than stay confined to Lenegis, we should get on with colonizing Dana and expand our horizons. That way, we will become masters of both worlds and overturn our current minority status on Dana's surface. That is why he seeks to become our next sovereign. Tell me, is there a greater, more noble ambition than that? I think not. It is a pursuit of power for the advancement of all our kind. That makes him an exemplary lord, a model above all others. Though I was unable to accompany him myself, my two sons have been blessed with the honor of joining him on the surface. As their father, it fills me with endless pride.
Ganabelt was so horrible to people, yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit.
I guess that will be another district
However,
over there, and
in
it'll
my
probably be
mind,
like the other two.
While all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
That's a good question right there. I guess human tribal nature. Human tribal nature, look out for your own. Whatnot.